Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, or evening, or whatever time you decide to watch this. Uh, this is the last emergency broadcast that I'm going to be doing. Uh, if you haven't heard, they uh, they found Nichole Lovell's body, um, and unfortunately, she has passed away. Um, I would like to thank anybody who watched the videos, who saw my messages, and and did anything to help look. I especially like to thank the FBI, the local authorities. They have been so kind to the family um, since this whole incident started. I mean, their kindness and generosity has been unbelievable, along with everybody else's support. Um, right now, this is going to be probably be my last message about this, and then I'm not going to post anything else on social media about this. Sorry, I thought I saw something outside. Um, it's tragic what happened, and I want the right messages to come from this tragedy. I don't want the killers to become famous. I don't want that. Nobody should become famous for heinous deeds such as this. I've always found it baffled about how people make it all about the killers after such an incident. It never made sense to me, and it definitely will not make sense to me now if it does happen. Uh, please remember Nichole. Keep her in your thoughts and in your minds. Yes, I'm not saying not to pay attention to the trial and not to pay attention to, eh, as family members, the only thing that we can do now is make sure that justice is served and justice is served right. I will be paying attention to this and making sure that justice does prevail. I know there's the whole family's going to be there. They're going to be watching. They're going to make sure that this loss of innocence, is punished, and it should be. Um, I mean, I really don't know what to say about this incident. I don't. It's horrendous. No matter what is found out in court, no matter what, there is no justification for taking innocence in my book. There is none. It's the unforgivable sin. And whoever did this, I mean, I know there's some people that's been caught, and let's say they weasel out, or it turns out not to be them, and then it turns out to be somebody else, which I doubt. I'm very seriously doubting, but still, I don't even want to know their names. I don't. I really don't. Because no matter what they say, no matter what's twisted up in their little minds, there's no justification for what they've done. And yes, I was across social media because I wanted people to spread the word. The more eyes that we could have had out there, that's more chances for her to be found. Uh, and then I was across social media after she died because people, and I'm not going to mention names or anything, but people released information too soon. And we as the family will have information before the general public knows, but the family should have respect, not to release this information to the general public because there may be consequences for that information coming out. And, you know, it, we got to think beyond our own needs right at the moment. Investigators have got to do what's right and find things, and you know, because of this alert, we're lucky that the people who didn't, who found out about this information that was leaked didn't just try to take off. Uh, I mean, there was one arrested at the time when this information leaked, but this could have alerted the second, and the second could have panicked and gotten away. We need to be smarter about this. So, I tried to dispel that, or get that message out, that we need to keep some of this information private. And as far as this information goes, I'm probably going to be cut out of the loop probably here very soon. I probably know about as much as the public is, but I'm still going to make sure that justice is done. I mean, I do no more than the general public does, but those details we're going to keep to ourselves, okay? Let's just leave it at that. So the police and the people who properly know how to handle this information can handle it the right way. I just want the right messages to come from this. I want us to find ways to prevent this from happening to another child. I don't know what those ways are. I have no clue on what those ways are. I don't know. I stayed up in bed last night thinking of ways to help incidents like these, and I don't know. Maybe I've had several ideas, but who knows? I mean, maybe there's a new app or a service that could be introduced that if there's an abduction and there's a reported abduction, that image would go to people's smartphones of that child for up to a 100-mile radius. I don't know. I don't know what the solutions are. But the solutions have got to start being thought of, and we need to start looking into it and take what happened to Nichole and make it the last. Let's make it the last. I remember a little girl playing with my little girls. My girls are taking it rough, but they grew up together. They're the same age. I mean, up until a year ago, before we moved for a job, I mean, they grew up in the same apartment complex. They played together all the time. They were typical kids. They hated each other at times, but then a few minutes later, they were back to loving each other. Typical kid stuff. And that's all this was. This was a kid. And we need to find out ways to stop this from happening to other kids. I want that message to come out loud and clear. Do not remember the killers. Let's use this. Let's find ways to make this stop. Like, I was introduced to a website that and it's public knowledge. I'm not releasing anything that hasn't been released before, that Nichole was on. It's called Teen Dating and Flirting site. It's on Facebook. I don't know. I'll post a link to it down there. I know they say it takes 24 hours, but I saw it online. And the things that were on there were disgusting. Old men. This is a website for teen dating. There's old men on there nude. There's nudity on Facebook. Really? I have kids of my own that have Facebook accounts. And the reason why I've never thought of looking on Facebook for freaking nudity is because they have a clause stating that nudity is not allowed. That it would be banned automatically. And I'm not blaming Facebook by any means. It's a huge, huge network and so many different groups, so many people. It's hard to regulate. But still, to see that kind of appalling thing online was just horrendous. And for her to be a part of that, it was just, I didn't know that place existed. I didn't want to know that place existed. Now that I know that it exists, and others like it exist, no. No, 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 no. Why? Why does it exist? There was old men on there along with teenagers, all of them half naked or completely sometimes, with pictures of people masturbating. That's okay. There are children on Facebook. We gotta think of ways to protect our kids. You know, I would have never thought to look up for this place unless somebody told me. But, you know, I monitor what my kids do. I do. I'm sorry. You know, that is the one good thing that has come out of this is my kids have come to the realization that me being so strict on them and their online habits isn't to be mean and be a douchebag. It's to protect them from a world that they do not fully understand yet. That's my job as a parent. That's my job. You know, when I signed them up for Facebook, you know, I thought nudity wasn't allowed, but they could have stumbled upon this site. That's just wrong. Places like that need to be shut down. We need to find better ways to monitor our children, to know what they're doing online. Yes, you can block and you can do all sorts of things. Yes, you have to be 18 to do this, that, and this, but you want to know how many people lie to create these things? You want to know how simple it is to create a fake email account and create an account on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Kickstarter, shoot. What was that other website? I don't know. There's so many daggone social websites. Instagram. I think I already mentioned Instagram. But there's a plethora of them. Plethora. Snapchat. It's too easy for them to make up a fake account real quick. And even as a vigilant parent, you can allow your kids to get onto the computer and they can have it hidden behind another window. You walk by and see that they're on what they're supposed to be, and then you walk away and then they can click. It's rebellion. It's kids. You know, expect it. Expect it. It's going to happen because they're going to get curious about things, and some things they're not going to want to come to you and talk about. But there's got to be a better way to protect our kids from online. There is. So take that message from this. Let's find ways, and not just in Nichole's name, but every person who has been lost to a tragic incident like this. Let's find a way to do it in their name also. No innocence should be taken before it's time, and Nichole was. The only thing we can do now is make sure that justice prevails, and we will do that. So let's find ways to stop online. You got to be a parent and introduce them to online and be trusting and stuff like that. It's kind of complicated because you got to know your own child, and each child is different. Each child is different. Some can handle more than others, some can't. But we gotta find a way. And let's use the memories of those past lost innocents, including Nichole, to do some better. And I know it's a tragic way to learn a lesson, but my girls love it and appreciate what we've done as parents for them now. They do. They're like, my daughter came up and said, "I love you, Dad, for doing what you did." And she used to argue with me all the time about this stuff online, and now she understands. I was hoping to protect that innocence for a little bit longer, but unfortunately, this is shattered out. But oh well. Sometimes life makes you grow up when you need to. And they're handling it. And they're doing fine. They're doing fine. It's hard for them, but they'll see it through. They're strong girls. They're my girls. They'll make it. I'd like to thank everybody for their thoughts and prayers, but I just want to make sure that the positive messages come out of this. Let's remember Nichole. Let's find ways to protect other children from incidents like these from ever happening again, and let's do it, and do it sooner than later. Let's not let this be another subject that gets brought up in the news and the press, and then nothing gets done. All right. This is the last emergency broadcast. My other show will continue. It'll probably be a couple of weeks or maybe a week down the road for those that were interested in that. But if you're watching it, it's a completely different entity. It will have nothing to do with Nichole. Uh, as far as we need to grieve, we need to move past, or not move past, I shouldn't say that, but we need to, what should I say? We need to deal with this in our own way. So, it's like I told the girls the other night, when they realized that she was dead, and, there's two ways a person can die. The physical death, which Nichole has already experienced. And then they could die a second time. That's when the last person quits remembering her. So let's keep her alive, keep her in our hearts and our minds, and keep her alive that way. She will always live within inside of us. She will. She was a good kid. She was a good kid. And it's such a tragedy that such innocence is lost. I thank everybody, FBI, police, any officials that are involved in this. We're leaving it into your hands. Please make sure justice prevails. And we thank you for all the kindness that you have shown this family. We thank everybody for their support. And just remember this. Don't make the killer famous. Let's learn from this. Let's save another child. And let's do it sooner than later. I know I'm repeating myself. I need to get off of here. This is Mr. Anger. Thank you all. And y'all have a great day.